It is gratifying that things unexpectedly went smoothly in the courtroom. Anthony not only did not hire any lawyers to defend him, but also remained silent throughout the entire process. So the natural outcome was Veronica successfully clearing her name. But at the beginning, Anthony went to great lengths for his son. But later on, he was so decisive when he pulled the trigger. The huge contrast between his actions kept Aiden puzzled. Was he afraid of exposing the identity of the congressman? Or was he afraid of revealing even darker secrets? After the incident, Veronica chose to say goodbye to everyone. She wants to leave this complicated place with the villagers. Aiden returned to the prison with Meliphilia to review this matter. As requested by her, Aiden bought some things for the prisoners. Because in Meliphilia's view, this matter is far from over. Anthony chose to endure, but he did not choose to give up. So she asked Aiden to buy something for the prisoner. It was also a way for her to protect herself. The turntable on the table kept spinning at this time. The piece of the entire city's silver will no longer exist. The prison cafeteria at this time. Cambry rarely got up to have breakfast. The prisoners behind her were mocking her as Aiden's lackey. This made Cambry extremely angry. But the next second, she changed her expression. She said her stomach was not feeling well recently. Are there any other food options? Her bitchy appearance instantly caused dissatisfaction from the criminals behind her. But unexpectedly, the anti-serving food actually said yes. And the anti-serving food really brought out a whole strawberry cake for her. The whole prison went crazy in an instant. Cambry, content, left with the cake. At the same time, Asina also came to the library to borrow books. This time, she successfully borrowed the best-selling new book from outside. When she saw the title of the book, she instantly entered into a wonderful world. And at that moment, the weird creature also welcomed a new guest. It is a lovely wooden elf. She is a little translator sent over by Aiden. She can understand the emotions of everything. She is the best companion for the weird creature. After exchanging a few words, the wooden elf was forced to have a sweet cuddle with her. The bathroom in the prison on the other side. The succubus is taking a bath. Two prisoners suddenly appeared. They usually make money by bullying succubi. At this time, two figures emerged behind them. One of them is Tiger Woman. The other is Dragon Woman. This is exactly the hired thug succubus brought to protect her. Turns out succubus was with Aiden before. She asked Aiden to punish the two people who robbed her. In the end, Aiden only left her with 4 words. Exercise proper restraint. After waiting for so long, he finally gave her the opportunity to strike. She said, "Hit me hard. As long as I'm not dead, keep hitting me to death." The two who were bullying her became afraid when it was their turn to be bullied. Soon, screams of despair and the succubus's smug laughter could be heard coming from the prison. At this moment, in Anthony's study, he instructed the butler to go find the Ant Queen. The Ant Queen is a mad woman who likes to conduct experiments on human bodies. Her beloved daughter is also imprisoned in Rose Prison. Anthony has made up his mind. He is determined to make Aiden pay. She is the cutest prisoner in Rose Prison. Because she is too cute. Even Warden Aiden can't do anything about her. Gilala belongs to the Wooden Elf clan. Because she sleeps on the job, it has caused huge losses to the noble's plantation. So she will be sent to Rose Prison. Wooden Elf can naturally understand other people's emotions. So Aiden sent her to keep Weird Creature company. Although she would sometimes be given dirty looks by other inmates. But overall, she found prison life quite relaxed. One day, Aiden suddenly approached her. He wanted Gilala to help out by looking after a prisoner with a language barrier. This was just a small matter for her. But when she saw the prisoner, Gilala realized that things were not as simple as she thought. Only to see that the prisoner's face showed no expression. Her inner world, even there, is only a skeleton. Gilala's face turned very ugly. She said to Aiden, "She's just a piece of meat that can digest, with no thoughts at all." Actually, Aiden had known this result a long time ago. Then he took out the key, pushed the door, and walked in. Gilala only then noticed that his hand was injured. Aiden told her that it was just a scratch and nothing serious. Then he walked into the cell. Kim, let's start our morning class today. We will talk about Cinderella today. At a certain street of City Silver at this time, an old man is promoting his products everywhere. Suddenly, she was blocked by a figure. The person happened to be Anthony's butler. Later, the two of them arrived at a secluded room. He was very straightforward and said, "Do you want to save your daughter?" The old lady chuckled and said, "So what if I want to? Do you want me to break into prison?" "I don't mean that. As long as you turn yourself into prison, there will be a chance to rescue your daughter." Upon hearing this, the old lady's face instantly turned cold, and she said, "I am not as stupid as you think," as she reached for the basket containing the magic potion. Just as she was about to make a move, Anthony stepped forward and said, "Since we dare to let you go, there must be a complete plan." The old lady also recognized him. After all, Anthony had just finished a lawsuit with Aiden. He said, "Aiden is our common enemy. Here is all the information about Rose Prison. I can weaken the forbidden magic circle of the prison to the greatest extent possible. And I can also reduce the number of guards when the powerful Ant Queen attacks from within. I will also have the insider planted in the prison help you. This way you can easily educate your daughter, and I will make sure Aiden dies." His plan is perfect. So perfect that the old lady has no reason to refuse at all. Ant Queen then took out a bottle of magic potion and drank it. Then her whole body couldn't stop trembling. In just a second, she turned into a tall woman. "Then I will enter Rose Prison on charges of smuggling. My daughter is waiting for me." And at this time, Kim, who was reading in the prison, seems to have sensed something too. Then she quietly looked out the window. "If you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'll put you in the Rose Prison tomorrow." Like the Roman war goddess Meliphalia, Gilala is also a member of the Rose Prison. After the werewolf case is resolved, Anthony, who lost his son, has been focusing on preparing for revenge against Aiden. The tranquility of Rose Prison is about to be shattered. But what Warden Aiden didn't expect is, the ones who started causing trouble first were actually the prison guards. The story begins this morning. Aiden's assistant Flanda originally just went to work at the prison as usual. She didn't know what was going on, but she kept feeling like someone was following her. And this situation has been going on for several days. Just then, a figure suddenly appeared and dashed towards her. In the emergency, Flanda drew her handgun. But the next second, the man actually knelt down directly. He said, "Miss Flanda, please marry me." Flanda is already married. Upon hearing this news, the man's feeling is like the feeling I get when I see the number of subscriptions on this YouTube channel. At the same time, several other men nearby also expressed their regret. Upon returning to the prison, Flanda immediately reported this matter to Aiden. It turns out that a writer turned the werewolf case into a novel. Not only did the novel confirm Aiden's abilities, but it also extensively described the female prison guards in the prison. For example, Flanda has transformed into a goddess with a perfect figure. The group of people in the morning are the ones who pursued Flanda after reading the novel. At this time, Aiden has not yet realized the seriousness of the situation. He thinks he can take this opportunity to find spouses for the single female prison guards. Just then, a prison guard walked in. She was there to resign. She was hired by the Empire's most famous women's prison. There was a good opportunity for her. Aiden was naturally happy for her. Just then, the prison doctor also rushed over. He is also here to resign. He received an acceptance letter from medical school. This makes Aiden a little headache. He asked, "Are you resigning too?" Night quietly covered Rose Prison. Gilala noticed that there were unusually few prison guards on patrol today, because the other guards are all in Aiden's office. All of them are here to resign without exception. Some have caught the eye of wealthy businessmen. Some have landed better jobs. Therefore, they are all eager to resign to Aiden. Flanda sensed something was amiss. If so many people resign at the same time, there will be a big mess in the prison. So she asked her colleagues to work for another month to give the prison some time to recruit new people. As soon as they heard this, they immediately became unhappy, because how could their employer possibly wait for them for a month? So their emotions suddenly became excited. One by one, they began to complain about all the bad things about the prison. They even thought that Flanda was jealous of them. The situation on the scene gradually began to spiral out of control. Aiden, who could no longer bear it, suddenly slammed the table. He said, "Do you think it's appropriate for you as prison guards to act like this? I will be happy for all of you if you find a better place. However, I also have a request. Please complete the basic handover work before leaving." But obviously, these words of his don't move these people who are bewitched by ghosts at all. I don't know who started taking off their clothes first. The first person took the lead. Countless others behind threw their police uniforms and guns on the ground. At this moment, Aiden also realized what was happening in the prison. Behind the mass resignation of the prison guards must be the first step of Anthony's retaliation. Flanda looked worried. If things continue like this, a riot in the prison will be inevitable sooner or later. Just at this moment, a small head poked out from the door. It turned out to be Veronica. She came specifically to apply for the position of a prison guard. Flanda was very puzzled. She said, "Weren't you supposed to go back to the village?" Her words immediately completely confused Veronica. Veronica then realized that the prison was unusually empty today. Suddenly, a prison guard rushed out. He shouted, "It's not good, Lord Aiden. The prisoners are about to riot. The few of us can't suppress them at all." At this moment inside the prison, those troublemakers are still making a commotion. They have noticed that something is wrong with the prison today. They are all clamoring for the guards to open the cell doors. At this moment, Gilala feels that the entire prison is filled with a sense of violence and cruelty. She hid under the bed in fear. At that moment, the prison gate opened. Warden Aiden finally rushed back. As soon as there was a commotion, the succubus popped out. "Lord Aiden, please come and protect me." Suddenly, her eyes widened abruptly, because she saw Veronica behind her. She thought Veronica was caught again. She quickly greeted her and ushered her into her own house. Veronica ignored her and slowly put on the guard's uniform. The tiger woman who was just shouting loudly showed great disdain. Obviously, she didn't regard Veronica highly. Flanda said, "This is the first test for the new prison guard. Establish your authority in front of the prisoners." Veronica lightly responded with a simple, "Got it." Veronica then pointed at the loudest ones calling and said, "You three, come out. I want to talk to you in a row." As soon as she finished speaking, the entire prison was filled with mocking laughter directed at her. "Tiger Woman is quite arrogant," she said. "No need for others. I can take you down all by myself." But the reality was that Veronica took only a few seconds to handle all three of them. She said, "Anyone else wants to taste my fist?" After she finished speaking, the entire prison fell silent instantly. Aiden was very pleased with the outcome. Remember, Veronica is the top-ranked combatant in the police force. The succubus is extremely excited at the moment. She said, "Did you see that, Mom? My sister is a prison guard now. In the future, make sure to figure out who is the alpha for me." After that, she blew a kiss to Veronica. Veronica instantly revealed a silly smile. Just then, a voice interrupted them. "Master Aiden is indeed impressive. Even with so few people, he can still manage the prison so well. The speaker is the manager in charge of City Silver's finances." Aiden is very confused. He said, "Mr. Doug, what brings you here?" The scene shifts to Warden's office. Doug said there are only 90 prison guards left in the prison now. Subtracting the salaries of the resigned personnel, we have decided to reduce the monthly budget for the prison to £600,000. Flanda's face changed instantly. Are you kidding? Just to maintain the forbidden magic circle in the prison alone costs £650,000 every month. This is Aiden's most helpless moment. He will face the arrogant warden. Now he is being insulted by all sorts of people. Under the operation of Anthony, the prison guards in the prison are resigning and fleeing one after another. And the financial controller of City Silver took the opportunity to reduce the prison's budget to £600,000. Flanda was greatly shocked. It is important to know that the Forbidden Magic Circle in Guang Prison costs 650,000 gold every month. And some prisoners are special. 80,000 pounds are also spent on them each month. The monthly maintenance cost of the prison is also 60,000 pounds. And the money spent on prison guards is actually the least. So you deducted so many pounds because the prison guard resigned. Do you think this is reasonable? Doug quickly waved his hand. He said, "You misunderstood me. It does indeed cost this much money to fully power the Forbidden Magic Circle. But there's Lord Aiden. Can't you lower the power output a little? After all, we all know the strength of Lord Aiden." Flanda looked worried after he left with him. Aiden remained silent from beginning to end. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. Then he slowly spoke to Flanda. "From now on, you are the vice warden. When I am not around, you have full authority to handle the affairs of the prison. I need to think about how to get through this period." Flanda broke out in a cold sweat. She said, "Are you saying that we are in trouble? These recent changes are not a coincidence. It is a conspiracy against the prison. And the mastermind behind the scenes is not just Anthony. It is very possible that there are other nobles involved." When the prison gates open again, Flanda changed into a brand new set of equipment. Some prison guards recognized him. "This is the vice warden's clothing," she said. "Please inform everyone. Aiden has other matters to attend to. I will be fully in charge of managing Rose Prison from now on." After she finished speaking, the whole prison was filled with mocking laughter directed at her. Flanda remained calm. The loudest laughters were each given 20 strokes with a truncheon. "I didn't expect those two people to be even happier. Who do you think would be frightened by 20 truncheon strokes? Veronica, it's your turn to execute." Veronica's expression is very innocent. She said, "If I break the police baton, don't make me compensate." Those two criminals panicked in an instant. Flanda said, "By the way, I'll tell you. All the doctors in the prison have resigned. If you get injured, whether you can survive will be up to you." She then gathered the remaining prison guards together. She wanted to maximize the efficiency of the prison guards. At the same time, the inmates in other cells also quieted down. One muscle baddie seemed particularly appealing. On the other side, a mouse walked into Cambry's cell. She already knew about the budget cut affecting the prison. She asked Asina, "What do you think about this matter?" "You think there's a chance to escape, then just go for it. I won't stop you. If there's a chance, I will definitely be the first one to get out before you. Rose Prison is about to have a riot. Countless terrifying female monsters are starting to act up. And can Warden Aiden turn the tide with his ability?" Just yesterday, Aiden delegated the power of managing the prison to Flanda. Of course, Flanda did not disappoint him. She not only suppressed the unruly inmates, she also managed the prison guards in an orderly manner. Under her tough management, prisoners even just sneak a glance at her. Flanda will also reprimand mercilessly. Veronica watched the whole process of her reprimanding the offender from the side. Even she couldn't help but marvel at Flanda's strong presence. At that moment, a person suddenly appeared behind her. It was the warden of Block 1 in the prison. And Veronica is one of her crew members. The two of them gathered together chatting aimlessly. At this moment, the prison once again sent a group of prisoners. The warden of Area 2 is very helpless. Now that the prison is so short of staff, they are still being sent in. There are even prisoners who are caught for smuggling. This kind of behavior is simply a waste of resources. And what was being done inside the prisoner transport was making an ant queen. She listened to the conversation outside. A strange smile tugged at the corners of her mouth. In the blink of an eye, she was successfully escorted to the prison. Upon entering the prison cell, a voice came from behind her. "You are the newcomer who just arrived, right?" Then the blanket was suddenly lifted. "I'm telling you, I'm a frequent visitor to the prison. The warden is my lover. The guards are my childhood sisters whom I grew up drinking milk with. Call me Gangsterette, and I'll protect you." Ant Queen fulfilled her little wish. The succubus instantly beamed with joy. The succubusant queen looked at Tianjin foolishly and laughed. The sun slowly descended. Darkness was about to envelop Rose Prison when someone secretly set fire to Aiden's office. If you don't click the like button, he will go to your house and set it on fire tomorrow. Soon Veronica smelled a strange odor. Then several people turned their heads to look back. They found that the entire prison was engulfed in flames. The prison guards were in a panic. And at this moment, they heard commotion behind them again. It was those oddly assorted prisoners. They took advantage of the chaos and launched a riot. The guards initially fought back with weapons, but one guard couldn't hold on and retreated. Then, there was a large-scale dispersal of the guards. Flanda's efforts to stop them were completely futile. A prisoner looked on indifferently at everything. She understood that at this moment, Flanda still couldn't completely convince all the guards. At this moment, chaos broke out inside the prison. All the guards were sent out to suppress the riot. Muscle Batty inquired, "Is the prison going to be finished?" She said, "No, it's not. Because the true protagonist hasn't appeared yet." On the other hand, the rioting prisoners have already rushed up. Their opponents are a werewolf and 3 ordinary people. Suddenly, a staff fiercely struck the ground. Warden Aiden finally made his appearance. As soon as he appeared, several rioters couldn't help but retreat. Aiden spoke slowly. "Good evening, ladies." Warden Aiden was about to take action at last. This time, he is going to punish those troublemaking prisoners severely. It turns out that a fire broke out at Rose Prison just 1 day ago. The prisoners took this opportunity to initiate a riot. The sudden turn of events left Flanda defenseless. At a critical moment, Aiden finally rushed back. As soon as Aiden appeared, the rioting prisoners quieted down. The scene fell silent for a moment. No one was willing to speak at this moment. Aiden finally broke the silence and took the lead. He asked, "Would someone come out and explain to me?" "I just left for a moment. Did you already dare to attack the prison guards?" Vampire spat in the corner. "What are you pretending to be at this point?" Aiden suddenly turned to look at her. "Have you become so arrogant as well?" At these words, Vampire's face instantly turned red with anger. She said, "What are you still so proud of now?" "How many prison guards are there in the prison? Don't you know?" He said, "So are you very confident?" "Then I will give you a chance. In the next 3 days, except for special offenders, all the prisoners' cells will be unlocked. Feel free to do as you wish. I want to see if my fists are stronger or if your fate is stronger." As soon as these words were spoken, the prison instantly became noisy. And this is Aiden's only way out. At present, there is a serious shortage of prison guards in the prison, and it is not possible to find so many guards in a short period of time. However, if it is possible to recruit a group of people from among the inmates to act as prison guards, it would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That's why the scene just happened. After everything was arranged, Aiden left with Werewolf and Flanda. It was very strange to the Ant Queen hiding in the corner after he left. She didn't understand what Aiden was up to. She then turned her gaze towards the succubus. She said, "Gangsterette, have you heard of a criminal named Kim?" Upon hearing the words, Succubus's expression instantly tensed up. "You are not right. You just called me a gangsterette and asked about other prisoners. Quickly tell me if you want to betray me." Ant Queen quickly explained to her that you are just curious. Succubus gave a cold snort and said, I advise you to put away your curiosity. Privileged prisoners like him. You have no chance to get in touch with them at all. After all, not everyone can be Aiden's daughter. Aiden not only cares for her daily, but also teaches her how to read and write. At these words, the face of Ant Queen slowly darkened. Because in her cold-blooded eyes, Kim can only be a cold, unfeeling killing machine. Under the careful cultivation of the Ant Queen, Kim has never had any emotions since childhood. Even just needing a word from her, Kim could kill everyone in this world with just a single word. Therefore, she naturally does not allow anyone to take away her murder weapon. Aiden's office at this time. Inside, Aiden asked, Do you have any questions about the first step of the plan? Plandus solemnly said, Don't worry, Lord Aiden. I will arrange tomorrow's plan properly. He said, So let's meet at the secret location tomorrow. After leaving the office, she immediately found Werewolf, because Aiden had just asked her to help pass on a message to Werewolf. She quietly approached Werewolf's ear and said, There's a hole in the back of your pants. Tell me in the comments section if you want to see how big this hole is. This is Warden Aiden's toughest round. Facing a collective riot of inmates, he unexpectedly announced in front of everyone to open the prison gates. I want to see if my fists are strong or if your fate is tough. Originally, the prisoners all had doubts about his words. But what was unexpected by everyone is, the next day, the prisoners' cell doors unexpectedly opened. And even the main gate of the prison was opened. This actually left the prisoners a bit puzzled. At that moment, the warden of Block 1 of the prison suddenly appeared. She was holding a camera in her hands, and she was fervently urging the prisoners to quickly leave the prison. Faced with this strange situation, the prisoners all unconsciously chose a brave one to scout ahead, because this serpent demon insisted on being the first one out. But at this moment, some unpleasant memories kept flashing through her mind. It was a long time ago when Aiden arrested her, and in order to resist, she kept fiercely biting Aiden's hand. But unexpectedly, Aiden placed her right under the mouth of a volcano, and Aiden maintained this position for a full 3 hours. At the thought of this, she sounded the retreat, but the other prisoners did not agree. Just when the two were arguing, a handsome rooster suddenly appeared. The kitchen Andy shouted, Quick, catch that hen! It's today's lunch ingredient. However, this hen's movement is amazing. It actually made a big leap and jumped away. Then it rushed out of the door without any hesitation. In the eyes of everyone's expectations, the mother hen succeeded. Then it excitedly clucked. Of course, even more excited than her were the prisoners. They seemed to smell the taste of freedom. But the next second, a magic circle suddenly appeared under the chicken's feet. Then a loud explosion sounded. When the hen landed again, it had turned into roast chicken. The criminals were shocked by the hen's death. One of the criminals angrily pointed at the district mayor. At this moment, another prisoner, Birdwoman, stood up. She raised Gilala with one hand. She said, Throw this dog leg out. I want to see how many traps are still out there. Just as Gilala was about to be thrown out by her, Tiger Woman interrupted her and said, Just a few spells, no need to involve innocent bystanders. And at this moment, two people quietly approached Bird Woman. The next second, Bird Woman's arm and right leg were suddenly slashed by someone. The intense pain caused her to release Gilala instantly. She said, I'm sorry, your jailbreak is your own business. Prisoners who don't want to escape won't allow you to mess around. Don't forget that you are still in prison now. Speaking are a pair of twins. They are the district chiefs of District 2 and District 3, respectively. Then the district chief of District 4 also appeared and said, Prisoners who do not want to escape, please come back with me first, so as not to be harmed later. After she finished speaking, a considerable number of people chose to leave. Tiger Woman laughed and said, That's fine. Next, Let's see the performance of us strong ones. But suddenly, she seemed to have seen something incredible. The next second, she suddenly knelt down and said, I'm sorry, Lady Ostina. I shouldn't have proclaimed myself as a strong person in front of you. In front of her stood a tall half-orc. She is the eldest princess of the Marco Polo family. She is also the ruler of all the orcs. The woman spoke slowly. Get up. You did not disappoint me. In this situation, you did not bully the weak. You did not shame our orc tribe. Upon hearing this, Tiger Woman laughed. She said, Your Highness, are you planning to escape? I am willing to be your scout. Ostina declined her offer. She said, No need. I just brought my friend here to have a look around. And the friend she mentioned is also of noble status. The Ant Queen hiding in the corner was secretly alarmed. She smelled a familiar and terrifying scent. At this moment, a voice came through. Are there any good children willing to come to the kitchen to help me? I plan to experiment with a dessert. I need someone to be a taste tester. Upon hearing this, the two prisoners are eager to give it a try. But before they could speak, a figure flew over in a flash. I am a top-notch fighter in the prison. With me in the kitchen, no one dares to cause trouble. Asina on the side is very helpless. You clearly told me yesterday that you were going to escape. Cambry says stop talking nonsense. At this moment, Flanda's voice came from behind Asina. She said, The prison library administrator has quit. Would you like to take on this position? You can stay in there all day. Asina jumped for joy instantly, as soon as the words fell. The Ant Queen witnessed the whole process from the side. At the same time, she also understood Aiden's intentions. Strong enforcers were planted in all the areas of the prison with hidden dangers, to instill fear in the hearts of the prisoners who want to escape. Although he said he is opening the prison door, he is actually creating an even bigger prison. And now the only loophole in the prison is the abandoned construction site next to the playground. It is too dry and spacious there. With the current number of prison guards, they simply cannot keep watch. So will Aiden arrange for my daughter to be placed there? As she expected, Aiden is there at the moment. He is giving Kim an early class. However, at this time, there is a large wine barrel at his feet. Just then, two figures rushed over. She shouted, Come take a look! There is wine here! Aiden laughed. Finally took the bait. He said, Your nose is quite sharp. However, this wine is for the guards working overtime. You see this vast grassland. I plan to find a group of guards to work overtime for surveillance. Upon hearing this, Muscle Batty became anxious. She said, My specialty is keeping watch. I used to be the leader of a mercenary group. Just give me this wine, and I will do it. I promise to excellently complete Lord Aiden's task. Aiden reluctantly agreed. He said, But I also want to find someone to help me with the plowing. You can't complete the task alone. Upon hearing these words, Muscle Batty's little sidekick was suddenly startled. She said, He wants us to get prisoners to do the work. But this will definitely make us a lot of enemies as well. At this moment, Aiden stood up and said, Just find someone to help me till the land. I can provide you with alcohol until you can't drink anymore. The Ant Queen hiding on the side witnessed the whole process. She didn't expect Aiden to be so daring. He was now even hiring prisoners to manage the prison. But daughter, you can rest assured. Just wait until my ant army is formed on a large scale. Then it's time for the two of us to go on a killing spree. The setting sun dyed the leaves golden. Ant Queen picked up a stone casually. Then her abdomen wriggled slowly. Suddenly, her abdomen turned into a big mouth. Ant Queen stuffed the stone into it without hesitation. Just then, the guard who was watching here spoke up. Come out. No one will come here. Ant Queen slowly walked out from the corner upon hearing this. She said, My ant army is almost ready, but I need a breakthrough. I lack a prisoner I can win over to help me. He said, Vampire Queen in room 2. She was caught just last month right after escaping from prison. You should be able to easily win her over. At the same time, Vampire looked very desperate at her dinner. After all, I am the Vampire Queen. Is it appropriate for you to keep feeding me pig blood? The prison guard said you should be grateful. If it weren't for Lord Aiden's humanitarian care, you might not even get to drink duck neck blood. Just then, the pig blood in her hand suddenly became exceptionally hot. She didn't catch it in time. Then the pig's blood in her hand splashed onto the ground in an instant. Watching the blood spilled all over the floor, her heart was collapsing at this moment. What's even more outrageous is that a pair of feet stepped on it, and the owner of the feet is Ant Queen. At this moment, Vampire was completely furious. She rushed towards Ant Queen suddenly. With just one encounter, Vampire pushed Ant Queen to the ground. She said, "Damn humans! How dare you touch my dinner? I'll fill my belly with your blood." Upon hearing this, the Ant Queen's face was indifferent. "You can come and try if you want. I want to see if the curse mark on your neck works." With these words, the vampire's arrogance instantly disappeared. At that moment, the Ant Queen's fat intestine suddenly burst out from her belly. Then, that piece of fat intestine slowly reached into the vampire's mouth. She said, "Don't talk. Consider this dinner as my gift to you." And then the vampire discovered with surprise that the power of the curse mark disappeared, and the sealed magic power within her was actually slowly restoring. The Ant Queen laughed. She said, "I can lift all the prisoners' curses. Do you want to join me in killing Aiden?" At the same time, on Flanda's end, she arrived at the warehouse following Aiden's instructions. But what she finds strange now is that there is actually a cold aura ray here. Aiden explained to her, "This is to prevent certain prisoners from escaping. And this prisoner happens to be the harmless Cambry. After all, she does possess the ability to control animals. The cold spell formation can shield certain animals' heat sense." Aiden continued to speak. "Now we can start the next plan. After sorting through these few days, I found that the prison can be roughly divided into 3 types of inmates. The first type is inmates who are naturally violent and cannot be reformed. They are also the source of prison riots. I call them riot prisoners. The second type is the inmates who have no choice but to stay in prison. Most of them are just passing time in prison. I call them natural prisoner. The third type is prisoners being excluded by the outside world. They feel more comfortable in prison than outside. So I call them loyal prisoners. Our next step is to gather the force of loyal prisoners. Support an alpha from within the loyal prisoner. Then use the power of prisoners to defeat the prisoners. In the glow of the setting sun, a group of ants is working hard. The vampire is showing off his newly unsealed magic to everyone. This is the next step of the Ant Queen's plan. By lifting the curse as bait, she plans to lure more prisoners to join her. The results are surprisingly excellent. The prisoners of Riot Prisoner have no resistance to this bait at all.